Congress is going to be back on the Hill tomorrow to continue working on an agreement to avoid a government shutdown following a disastrous week with no deal. Joining us now, former U.S. Senator Heidi Heitkamp. She's director of the University of Chicago Institute of Politics and a CNBC contributor, and fit right in, I think, in Chicago. Very similar. Can you tell the difference, Heidi, between a Chicago, like Phil LeBeau, batteries? Can you tell the difference between Chicago and Fargo accents? I mean, is there...
Barely can tell the difference.
I know, that's true. Mick Mulvaney served as both White House Chief of Staff and OMB Director under President Trump. He's a co-chair of Heitkamp Strategic Advisors. I'm going to read both of you a comment from the Speaker. And I don't know whether we can count on this or not, or whether it's different different this time around might be that they don't shut it down, because they've done it before. But he says when it gets to crunch time, people that have been holding off all this time, blaming everybody else, will finally, hopefully, move. Do you talk to any of these people anymore, Mick? Is it likely that the real dead-enders are finally good? Matt Gaetz is never going to move, is he?
Yeah, I think Kevin in an ordinary world is probably right. That's the way it's played out the last couple of shutdowns and so forth. I do think it's different this time, not just because the people are different. Keep in mind, most of the people who are in this, it's an interesting term, Joe, dead end caucus. I sort of like that. Haven't been there very long, so they haven't seen how this plays out. So my guess is that combined with a very narrow margin. If Kevin had a margin of 15 or 20 votes, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But his margin is 3, 4, 5 votes on any given day. So all those things together, in my mind, make this a little bit different. I think they go into at least a little bit of a shutdown, if nothing else, to teach the new folks the lessons as to how awful it is for conservatives when that happens.
Yeah, right. Mick, I was going to talk about, I was going to talk. Heidi, I don't think you should try to talk them out of doing this, which is what you do. You talk about how terrible it is and it should never happen, because it usually comes back. Oh, I know what I'm going to talk to you about in a second, Mick, but it usually comes back, Heidi, and hurts the Republicans. Sometimes they even have trouble in the next election because of things like this. So you should tell them to go for it. That's what you want.
Honestly, that's a legitimate finger pointing, because when you look at the Senate, through the leadership of Patty Murray, through the leadership of Susan Collins, who's the ranking member on appropriations, they've moved the 12 bills that they're required to move. So clearly this is a House problem, and clearly it's a Kevin McCarthy problem. The problem is that we need systemic reform, whether it's on the debt limit, whether it is looking at moving forward without shutting down government when you get to this point. We've got a system in Washington where the very, very elite minority who only get attention during these time periods can throw a cog into the wheel and stop government. And it's bad. It's bad for the economy. I think it's bad for both sides. It's bad for people's reaction to Congress writ large, not just conservatives. So it's time for reform. We cannot let these minority players have this much power.
Okay, now I feel like John Fort, who doesn't on the other hand. Then, Mick, on the other hand, you have said that it might happen and it might not be the worst thing in the world. And whenever I take the sort of approach it from the perspective that I just had with Heidi, I do get some Twitter that says, okay, Joe, so $33 trillion, you're fine with that? You're fine that we're never going to spend anything else other than debt service? We can't do any of the great programs that we were trying to do because the debt service is so you think that's normal. So you don't think that we should actually take drastic measures. So I do get people that yell at me when I don't take the shutdown people seriously.
Yeah, and sometimes I think that's coming from me on a text. But no, look, I don't like the spending either. But here's my point to my conservative friends. There's a really good conservative compromise on the floor right now. The Freedom Caucus got together with the Main Street Caucus to reduce spending by 8% and add border security. That's a really good proposal that could pass the House and probably in an ordinary world should pass the House. What I'm saying on the larger issue about shutdowns and the $33 trillion worth of debt is this, is that you've only got a 5-vote majority in one body of Congress. You've got the House. You don't have the Senate. You don't have the White House. You're not going to fix the world. Heidi, with all respect, is talking about making changes that will make it harder to reduce spending. The only time we really do have spending discussions in this country are on the debt ceiling and on the government funding. So I can't go with Heidi on that one. But my point to the conservatives is you don't have enough power here to make big changes. Take small changes, claim victory, and move on.
Heidi, you can respond if you want to that.
Well, I mean, honestly, this is no way to run a railroad by crisis. I mean, it just is so irritating, and it's irritating that I think you've got deficit hawks on the Democratic side, and Angus King, Mark Warner. I mean, there are people who want to stop the runaway spending, but Mick knows and I know you can't do that looking at these 12 bills. You've got to have systemic reform as it relates to entitlement programs. That's where the big spending is. The Republicans still want to spend more than what would be normal and base load zero budgeting on defense. And at the meantime, I want to make this point. The debate over Ukraine is absolutely, it is crippling to the people of Ukraine who desperately need this help, who desperately need positive signs out of Washington. This is troubling times. And I think the casualty of this whole thing will be a larger than life minority saying we're not going to fund Ukraine at a time when it is absolutely critical that we send the right messages to the people of Ukraine.
Nick?
Not a crisis, Joe. Only on a dollar-for-dollar basis, only about 15% of the government shuts down. Social Security checks go out, Medicare goes out. Most of the government continues to run. If it goes on for a long period of time, will there be real impacts? Yes, there will. Did we see real impacts in 2018, 2019? Yes, we did. But keep in mind, markets were up during that shutdown. Barack Obama's best GDP quarter of his whole 8 years was during a government shutdown. This is not a crisis. The debt ceiling, I would agree with Heidi, that could have been a crisis because we don't know how to handle that. We know how to handle government shutdowns. Is it a big deal politically? Yes. Does the media make a big deal out of it? Yes. Does it hurt some parts of government? It absolutely does. But this is not a crisis. This is not a shutdown. This is a temporary lapse in appropriations. By the way, that is the legal term. We have them all the time. They had 5 of them during the 4 years of Jimmy Carter. People will get paid at the end of this. Everything is going to be fine. It's not a crisis. It's just not the best way to reduce spending.
If I can just point out that we have a crisis of confidence in our government, and this does nothing to tell the American people that they're responsible people in Washington who know how to run a railroad or know how to run the government.
You know, though, Heidi,
we've got to fix that problem.